and welcome everybody to my channel. It's been a while since I've last made one of these, and the reason for that is because we've had very little lockdowns in the last year or so, and motorcycles pretty much took over. Anyway, back to what this is all about. And lest we forget, this YouTube channel actually started with us. And I won't forget, during the initial lockdown, the severe one, where we were pretty much stuck in the house with very little to do other than just cook. we got to go back to some of our roots, and at this time, considering there is the possibility of another lockdown looming. After what we've heard, apparently there's a new strain, and we're going to pay very little attention to that strain at this point and focus rather on what might have to happen in the future. Anyway, back to what we're going to be doing today, and that is, I stole this recipe from the internet. It's probably the simplest form of cooking I've seen to date. It's called spaghetti al olio, aglio olio, which means it has garlic and olive oil. I've almost forgotten about the olive oil, and we're going to take that out now. There we go. This should have been right here as part of everything we need to make this. So, spaghetti, olive oil, salt, parsley, and these are the amounts. Now, the 6 cloves or 7 of garlic over here are going to be cut into thin slices. And what we're going to do is we're going to fry them in very low oil. And the reason for that is so that the oil can absorb the cooking process of the garlic and have the taste penetrate the oil, so that when everything goes together in the end, the taste is already there. So let's pause and continue. So I've already had the water boiling here, and the spaghetti is 500 grams, but I left some behind. I'm not going to do the whole thing because firstly it doesn't fit, and then and secondly there's only 3 or 4 of us. In fact, 3 adults and a baby. So 400 grams of spaghetti. I'm going to boil that, and while that happens, we're going to cut these cloves into thin slices, so that when I say thin, really thin, so that we follow the instructions as I received them myself from a very good chef on the internet. I forget his name now, but I will try and get a link for you guys, because this chap has many subscribers and viewers. So anyway, let's continue with making do, what this channel is all about, making use of all that we have in the house without having to go outside and buy anything. In other words, use what you've got, which is in this case everything that's before you. So let's continue. So, a pinch of salt on the pasta, literally, and go cut the cloves into thin slices. Not sure if you noticed or not, but the pasta, when I threw into the pot, I left it whole. I did not cut it. The reason for that is so that when it's ready and we throw it into that pot where the olive oil is going to be used to get the garlic done, can be mixed without issues. So as you see, it sounds like a lot of garlic, but the truth is, because it's going to be cooking slowly in the oil, browning slowly in the oil, it's going to lose the active taste that garlic normally has. And let me just open this up. It's about to boil over. Loses the strong active taste that garlic normally has, and creates for a beautiful texture and of course taste. So let's proceed and show you as we go along. Now, the one thing that we need to understand is the garlic has to be set into the olive oil while it's cold. Now, you throw a dash of olive oil in there, bearing in mind that this olive oil is going to be mixed into the spaghetti. So not too much, not too little, just enough. There you go, dash of olive oil. And we're going to throw the garlic in there. Right, so as you see, I'm going to throw the oil, even though I've already turned the heat up to 6 to get it going quickly. I'm going to throw the cloves in like that, and make sure that the heating process starts, bearing in mind that we need to turn that down to the temperatures that I spoke about, which is low temperature. But at this stage the oil is cold, and as you can see, the garlic is not as much as it looked like initially. So there we go. So that's the process. I'm going to turn this down, make sure that everything is on. Yes, it is. There we go, to the lowest temperatures I spoke about, and we'll come back to it in a moment. Right, one thing I've completely neglected to let you know is that there is some cheese involved here. We're using Gouda, that's what we have available. The instructions would involve some Parmesan. We don't have Parmesan, so this is fine. We're going to use exactly that. Yes, Parmesan would be the ideal cheese for this. So, and there you go. The parsley, I've used 3/4 of this little cup. You can go guess that amount for yourselves. I've cut it into small pieces. In the meantime, the garlic has browned already. This is pretty much what you need to do. I've taken half of the water from the spaghetti, and I'm gonna go and throw that in there to cool the garlic down a bit. Now this is a mix that usually would cause problems if it was very hot, because water and oil don't really mix. So the spaghetti is almost al dente, and that is not as easy as it sounds to get right. So I'm going to give it another 2 or 3 minutes before I mix the two up. And what I am going to be doing is throwing the parsley in once everything is done. So let's continue and show you the final stages of this whole exercise. Spaghetti aglio and olio. So it's garlic and oil. The simplest and most probably popular dish in Italy I've heard of, and most people have heard of. So that's without any meat whatsoever. Let's carry on. Okay, now most of you would throw the parsley afterwards and have it as fresh as possible. Personally, I prefer the parsley a little done, so I'm going to throw that in now. And we are on the second final stage of this whole exercise. Parsley's in, and just going to mix it a bit. And we're almost ready to throw the spaghetti. I'm going to be taking the spaghetti out. In fact, I've switched it off already, just getting the last bits of just let it simmer just a little bit more before I do the final thing. As you see, the pot's still hot, but it's stopped cooking. We don't want to do the garlic any more than that. In fact, I've got a feeling I might have done it a little too fast. So anyway, I'm sure it will still come out well. And let's do the final stages of this whole thing. And then we're done. And then I'll finally show you the presentation of it all. Right, so the one thing that I've noticed about the rinsing process, from what this chap says, is don't rinse. Well, rinsing, I mean getting rid of the water that's in here. He said something to the effect of don't rinse spaghetti. In fact, he said never rinse spaghetti, which to me is unusual, because I've been rinsing spaghetti all my life. So, and this is one of the reasons why I rinse spaghetti, because I can't get everything out. So, but if he said don't rinse spaghetti, don't rinse it. There we go. I've just got rid of the spaghetti, but I did not. And a small interruption there, but that's fine. So the final process now is to take this spaghetti to the pot over here. I'm going to throw that all in there, just like that, and start mixing all this up. Now, the only thing that we need to do is to add some of the ingredients that I haven't, so we haven't thrown in the pepper. I'm going to throw a little bit of black pepper in there. Not too much, not too little, but enough. And we don't have red pepper. I'm going to use paprika, just a little, to give it a little bit of color, like that. And we're almost done. And now we can mix the whole thing just like that. And I'm going to show you the final presentation with the parsley right at the bottom. So this is going to be mixed up nicely. And remember, the garlic is obviously going to give, oh man, the smell is coming through now. So this is becoming now a dish that I can't wait to dig into. So as my dear chef on the internet said, don't rinse the spaghetti, never rinse the spaghetti. I will remember that. I normally take advice. So okay, I'm just going to put this on a dish and show you the final presentation, switched it off, and if I show you the outcome of this whole exercise. Right, there we go. This is the result. I'm going to now pour this whole dish in here, and wow, look at that. That's not only enough, but it's come out better than I anticipated, even though I didn't do the garlic as well as I would have liked to do, because I didn't it's just get all the garlic. Remember, it sounds like a lot of garlic, but trust me, this is not a lot of garlic because it's been cooked slowly. And there we go. And final touch to make this a meal that I can't wait to dig into is the parmesan that we don't have. But guess what? It's fine. Gouda is good enough. Here we go. Gouda is just good enough. So I'm just going to sprinkle that on there liberally. Not overdo it, of course, but because I have a young son and he's quite a fan of cheese. And because this is all going to melt in and is not as active as parmesan, 50 grams, 70 grams of this. There we go. You know what? That's actually already too much. But yeah, you know what? My son is a fan of cheese. And as they say, want not, if you don't want to throw food away, right? So there we go. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the final part of this whole exercise. So I'm going to finish this video with an edit that I'm not sure took place or not, but this to say that this is the final exercise. I have grated cheese, the Gouda, and I've poured it on top, and this is the final presentation. I hope you enjoyed my video, and it looks like I'm a little bit rusty. I'll have to get back to this cooking once again. Problem is I'm so often away from home that I don't get much time to do this, and it's just too easy to go out and buy something. Anyway, there we go. I have no doubt this is good. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe, like, and support me if you can. And there we go, a little surprise video as opposed to the motorcycling and the country and mountains and traveling and something different like in the beginning. Thanks for coming on board. Have a blessed evening wherever you are, or morning, wherever part of the world you're in. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good one. Cheerio. Bye-bye.